Am I right? The last tune you're going to do for us is Changes,
Yes.
which is a tune by Black Sabbath. You don't strike me as the average Black Sabbath fan. How did this tune cross your path?
Mr. Tommy Burnett asked me to do this song. Never heard of the guy, but the lyrics was so powerful. And that was going through the crisis. My mom was very ill, and I was watching her suffer, and it's hurted me to my heart. And I didn't want to do the song, but the first verses was very hard for me to learn because I didn't want to accept it.
Wow.
But when I saw my mom, when she took her last breath, the second verse just came so natural. I didn't have to rehearse it. I didn't have to think about it. I look at it when she said her last goodbye to me. And boy, even today when I sing that song, I get truly emotional in that.
Oh, you
Well,
can
it's a
hear
beautiful version, man.
just the way he talks. He's pretty heavy on his vocal cords. There will be more at the end of this video on how your speaking voice and how Charles Bradley's speaking voice affects his singing voice and vice versa. Sometimes people's singing voices are pretty smooth and effortless, but their speaking voices are like this, a little bit gruff. But typically, I would say, in what I'm hearing in the quality of his voice right there, his speaking voice, the effort, the labored sound, probably translates to his singing voice. We'll find out. I want a hollow body. One to two, mine.
I feel unhappy.
Woo!
I feel so sad. I have lost the best friend that I ever had.
Wow.
She was my woman.
Watch how he got that breath.
I love her so.
Pretty tight.
But it's too late now. I let her go.
He is incredible, and he's very real. I think this is why people are such big fans. I don't blame them at all. When you see his shoulders go up, he's getting a shallow, not so much a diaphragmatic breath. And one thing you will find when it comes to the health of the voice is we tend to derail very quickly with those shallow breaths because we create a wall of tension to sing through as we do that. So just keep an eye on that as we move along. Maybe he settles into a more natural diaphragmatic breath. Let's find out.
Listen now. I'm going to change it.
A lot of false chord help there.
I'm going to change it.
What a tone though, man.
Oh, it hurts so bad
Oh, I believe it.
in my life. It's gonna be a change in my life.
Okay. He has so much distortion at base level. And I know I just mentioned that about him raising his shoulders up for his inhale, but actually a lot of that distortion in this little cry, we'll go back and listen and I'll shut up. I don't think that was actually that unhealthy. It sounded up and over. There'll be more on the technique of the distorted sounds that he's finding further along here, as I mentioned before. But actually, that sounded quite effortless up at the top there. But what's so great is he's got his whole heart into it, man. It's unbelievable. He's got something. It can't be taught.
We shed each day.
His emphasis on words contributes to the soul.
Together, we found a way. But soon the world
Ooh, beautiful.
had its evil ways.
Ooh.
My heart was crying. love went astray.
Okay. That's another natural one.
I'm going to change it.
I want to listen. I want to listen to that scream again.
Love went astray. I'm going to change it. I'm going to change it. Oh, it hurts so bad in my life. It's gotta be a change in my life. Somebody gotta help me.
It's killer. Yeah, I mean, he's not hurting himself on those. Ironically,
And this is the part that hurts me the deepest. It took so long
oh,
to realize I can still hear her
aw.
last goodbye. And now all my days have turned to tears. Wish I could go back and change these years. I'm going to change it. I'm going to change it. Lord, it hurts so bad
Ooh,
in my
all
life.
around.
It's gotta be a change in my life. Somebody gotta help me.
Nice bridge.
Woo! Oh, man. Charles Bradley, please give him as much thank you applause as you possibly can. Charles, that was fantastic. That's Ben on guitar back there. They never have too many Bens in the room. Thank you guys for coming out. But
Thank you.
once
That
again, man,
was-
thanks. I really appreciate it.
Wow. You can really tell these lyrics that he's lived through. It's like he's written it himself, you know what I mean? That's just beautiful when songs can do that for people. I mean, that's what this whole thing is about, right? I'm floored. As far as vocal technique goes, his speaking voice being a little bit labored, and his singing voice is definitely labored. I mean, it's interesting. His technique on those screams is the by far, most effortless sound that he is getting. His speaking voice is pretty unsupported, I would say. And I think he's loading up a lot of pressure on his vocal cords. And that has led to the amount of natural sounding distortion rolling out of him all the time. But boy, oh boy, you know, you can tell it's like he's lived the pain. It's incredible. One of the things I tell people in vocal lessons when people are looking to find more emotion and implement more emotion into their singing. I mean, as far as distortion goes, that's just such a personal choice. That's either for you or not. There's safe ways to do it. There are unsafe ways to do it. It's hard to do what he does and keep a balance going with that amount of distortion in a voice. That tends to be more from the vocal cords being kind of overloaded with pressure for a while. So that being said, the feel that he has can be found with or without distortion, in so much as the way he chooses to emphasize his words. He just kind of leans into them, opens up on his vowels, uses consonants to articulate. That's actually one of the biggest contributors, is just actually articulating the words and getting into it. He just has such natural storytelling and soulfulness. He knows where to put the emphasis. But if you're working on your own music and you're struggling to figure out where to put in those emotional emphasis moments, well, sign up for a lesson, link in the description, but also read through your lyrics and figure out which ones are the most vital and important at expressing the emotion and the sentiment of the lyric. He's naturally doing this. There's no thought going into it. So his breathing, as noted, some of it is shallow. And so what you want for the health of your voice is to maintain diaphragmatic breath. That's a big part of what everybody is doing in vocal lessons across the board, trying to root your sound in your breath, controlling the airflow down here. Because when we do this, we tend to load on more pressure on the larynx than we need. The thing is you can add distortion if you like that sound. I know I do, obviously, because I'm singing with it this morning. But if you want to add that distorted sound and pepper it in, there are vocal techniques to kind of activate your false chord sound that you're hearing in my voice without loading so much air pressure, subglottal pressure to the vocal cords. Because ideally you can either choose to use it or not use it. That's what I tell my students all the time. And there's no question, because you hear it so consistently between his speaking voice not having that diaphragmatic support and kind of supporting more with the throat muscles. And then obviously his singing voice, there's a lot of feel there, but there's also a lot of effort. And you have to admit that no matter what, he is such a gem because he's so raw. There's so much raw emotion piled into this. I mean, this is what we come here for into the music world, is to express and to feel and to bring that out of other people. I'm pretty sure he's one of the best I've ever seen with that raw emotion. It's just incredible. And thank you guys so much. This was super, super cool. I really loved it. I love distorted voices. I love soulful voices. So if you think there's something I should react to, another Charles Bradley performance or a similar artist, please leave it in the comments below. I appreciate you guys. See you in the next one.